Audi makes probably the most sensible cars in the premium segment. Mercedes is the conservative type, at least it was until the new A-Class came along. BMW, on the other hand, is for the more hip and trendy buyers. And Audi is in the middle, with modern tech packed in a minimalist, elegant body. The car you see here is no ordinary A5 Cabriolet, but the most aggressive model in the Audi lineup. This is RS5 Cabriolet, large rims, carbon ceramic brakes in the front, spoiler in the back, and inside a couple of elements which pretend to be carbon fiber. And these sports seats, they look great, but in everyday use they are a pain in the butt, and we'll get to that in a moment. A 4.2-liter V8, 450 horsepower, 430 Nm of torque. This is good for a 0 to 100 time of 4.9 seconds. Not too shabby. And there is one more thing that's not too shabby about this car, and that's how it sounds in dynamic mode. Okay, let's slow down here. This car is equipped with Audi Drive Select, and that means you can adjust some of the settings to your needs. On a twisty road, but with a good surface, I can play a little with this car. On roads like these, Audi RS5 comes alive. Quattro four-wheel drive system watches over me, but the sports settings of the suspension, steering and differential give me a feeling I'm a driving god. But don't be fooled, because this car can scare the living daylights out of you when suddenly the road surface gets rough and the nose starts running wide in a bend. The V8 FSI engine revs very high. The red line is at 8,500 RPM in a V8. This means that in the second gear you're doing motorway speeds, and in the third gear you're breaking most laws. So don't do that at home, kids. Now, since we're talking about gears, this here is a 7-speed double clutch gearbox, and well, it's pretty good. The gears, they shift in a blink of an eye. There we go, and a downshift, and an upshift, and an upshift, and a ho-ho-ho, and a downshift, and a downshift, and a downshift. And speaking of which, I really do like these paddles here, because they let me get this soundtrack, more of it. I like the soundtrack this car makes, and even if it's a bit artificial. Yeah, okay, enough of that. Let's switch into auto. Okay, one more time. Okay. We're good now. Here I should say I love cabriolets, and every car with a folding top gets points with me from the start. But even Audi left a few things for me to complain about. First of all, these seats. They look business and they offer really good lateral support. However, in everyday use, they're not very comfortable, especially if I want to fiddle with the MMI system. And speaking of the MMI system, that's the second problem with this car. It's not very intuitive, I would say. I have to take my eyes off the road, off the display, and start fiddling with all these buttons and knobs down there. There are just too many of them. And then there's the steering. Now, it's kind of nice and heavy when it's in dynamic mode, but I still have this feeling that I'm driving a big and very expensive game console. Because number 4 is the price. RS5 convertible costs more or less what a hybrid BMW 7 Series costs. But let's get back to sensibility that Audi is selling. The RS5 might not be as good to drive, as involving to drive as a BMW M3, but this understated design means that it's not so much in your face. And, you know, I can put it into auto or comfort mode, and it suddenly becomes a very comfortable cabriolet, an everyday car. And the understated design means that most people, they won't even notice that this is an RS car. They will probably notice the folding roof and not the tacky spoiler in the back.